Welcome back, everybody. It's your host with the most here, Starborn Feline. We are picking up with the next episode of Reverse 1999, and we are back with Chapter 9. So, a couple things to re-note from our last recording. So I had a lot of technical issues last recording, so there was some awkward cuts here and there. But besides that, we actually started to really get into the dynamics of the prison and how it seems to be two main factions. One led by the Idealist, who was shot last episode, and Octavia, who we're not quite sure what her goal is, but she seems to want to use literature as a way to put out more change in the world, to try and make the world a better place. But from what we saw with the flashbacks involving Doris, Octavia doesn't quite have the idea of how she wants that completed. So now the gang has to continue looking into this, and now they have proof that Dolores was here at the prison at some point, but either the Idealist lied and doesn't know where she is, or knows where she is but doesn't know what happened to her. I'm sorry. If the Idealist lied and knows where Doris is and what happened to her, and doesn't want to tell the Timekeeper Squad, or someone else interfered and the Idealist did know what happened. But we're just going to have to wait and see what goes on. Also, I'm going to have to be doing some stuff in the background here, so if I don't comment on certain incidents in a cutscene, I do apologize. I'm having to multitask here, so I might miss some things here and there. But anyway, let's get on with it with Part 9, the Central Tower. A silent and merciless order of ideals.
Easy. It's me, Garcia. We met at the gallery earlier. Please, I come in peace.
It's you, Octavia! The murderer herself!
Please, calm yourself, Miss Recolleta. The jailer has already confirmed that she wasn't the one to fire at the Idealist. The shot came from somewhere else in the room. Miss Octavia, what brings you here at this hour?
I come here out of goodwill. Believe me, I didn't want any bloodshed either. I understand you just arrived today. There's something you need to know about the inmates here. We're outcasts, rejected by society and literature, and our privileges are limited within these walls. But before I started my own literature group, I struck a deal with the Panopticon authorities. If we cooperate and stay out of trouble, they'd leave us be. We could discuss literature freely and openly in Comala. Such a thing may seem trivial to you, but this is of immense importance to us.
Oh, there's no happier thing in this world than discussing literature. No one should ever put limits on it.
You're right, Recolleta. But we're prisoners here. There are certain rules we have to follow. Except, the Idealist didn't see it our way. He refused to compromise, believing that the long poem and his so-called ism could break us free from the cage of the ever-watchful eye.
Perhaps he was right. You might have achieved more if you'd listened to him. After all, visceral realism keeps us connected to who we are.
You have to believe in the truth of visceral realism, because out there, beyond these walls, many of us still do.
And what has it changed? Garcia, you're the latest inmate here. Tell us, 3 months ago, before they arrested you and took you here, what has the visceral realism movement accomplished out there?
At first, it was revolutionary. Young poets joined in droves. We held gatherings. And the literary world seemed alive again. I was just a kid when the leading poets left the city. Everyone thought it was only temporary. But they didn't come back, and nothing has happened since. No one says it, but we all know. Visceral realism died in 1977.
No, not for me. It's not dead as long as people still believe in it. I believe in it.
Belief, faith, what is this obsession with the true self? Why does your type always insist on there being a true self hiding beneath our roles in society? Our disciplines?
Look at the idealist. He never once stopped fighting for what he believed in, even long after he was put behind these bars.
Idealist, what a name he gave himself. Who will he be when he finally breaks free from the eyes of the central tower? When he's left without his willful audience? And nobody. That's what. And that is a truth even he is terrified of.
Miss Octavia, I hope you've come with something more important to share than just some criticism of the idealist.
You're right. I have an important message for you. Dr. Torres, I heard you were looking for her. The woman from the Sao Paulo Veterans Residence. She used to write under the name Erd, didn't she?
Yes, that's right. Do you know her? You're the first person I've met here to speak plainly about her. Do you know where she might be?
We crossed paths, but only briefly. I'm not sure where she's gone. Maybe the authorities know. However, she left this with me. I think you'll need it more than I do. We have other matters to attend to. I'll leave you to your business. Garcia, shall we?
The physician told me the horrifying truth about the panopticon of Kamala and the power behind it. Manus Vindictae. By becoming the panopticon's sole patron, they seized control of the resources and the allocation system, turning this place into a living hell. I suspect that the physician, the current highest authority here, is responsible for this situation. I discovered that the inmates were put through brutal training, even when they were too sick to carry out their tasks. They also forced pure-blood Arcanist inmates to wear their masks, effectively turning them into murmuring puppets.
Just as we suspected, Manus Vindictae is orchestrating everything. No wonder we didn't find them in the city. They've been hiding here all along.
No one would have thought to come looking for them here.
But why would Miss Octavia bring this to us? What's in it for her? Do you think she's trying to mislead us, Timekeeper?
Maybe. But the handwriting in that notebook is most certainly Erd's. If she's leading us astray on purpose, why? Miss Recolleta, what do you think? Could she be Aleph?
Not a chance. Haven't you seen how she denies everything beautiful in the world? Aleph would never be so biased. No. Aleph is like a mirror. He reflects both light and shadow. But, Octavia, maybe she hasn't looked at the shadow within for a long time. I know that look on her face. It's the look of a writer. I've seen so many like her during my trip. The faces of a lost, struggling generation.
Dr. Merlin, I'm here to report on today's events.
Come in.
There was a commotion in the gallery today, sir. An inmate known as the Idealist was severely injured. The inmates nearby said he lost consciousness from blood loss. However, after we put everyone back in their cell, the Idealist was gone. I made a sweep of the grounds, but there was no trace of him. It's possible that he regained consciousness and went into hiding. I'll perform a full search tomorrow.
No need.
Sir?
He knew the consequences of breaking the rules, did he not?
Sir, with all due respect, I think today's incident proved just how dangerous it is to let the inmates keep their weapons. We never should have let them walk around with deadly weapons. Even if we had to, we should have doubled the guards. We can't expect them to follow their own rules simply out of fear of the Central Tower.
Such matters fall beyond your purview, jailer. You only need to do what's required of your title. Is there anything else?
There is another thing. 2 guests from the Foundation came through today. They said they were looking for someone named Doris. They've shown a willingness to cooperate, though they were involved with the incident in Corridor Zero. Sir, there is one more thing. I told Miss Octavia we're short on rations, and she's adjusted the inmates' portions accordingly, but that won't last long. Manus Vindicte stopped providing supplies back in March, and Sino has collected all the prisoners they had previously placed in her custody. I just wonder why they have so suddenly withdrawn from Ushuaia and brought all the prisoners with them. I also noticed that we haven't received any orders from the government since Warden Tartuffe was transferred. In fact, we haven't had any communication with them at all. Sir, in frank terms, we're facing down a serious shortage of medicine, food, and basic supplies. At this rate, the Panopticon will soon be unable to operate. Where will our inmates go then? Can we ask the Foundation for help? They've sent their people here. Maybe they're interested in the Panopticon? I could arrange a meeting if you like.
You're unusually talkative today.
Pardon, sir?
That's fascinating, you know. You've become so much more concerned about this place and its inmates than when you first started. You are now dictated by your title.
I didn't mean to overstep. I'm sorry.
You can go now. I have a great deal of work to do. Oh, and one more thing. Make sure this month's Kamala Congress is held according to schedule.
Yes, sir.
How many times have I warned you about this? The idealist has to go. He's nothing but trouble for us. You're too soft on him, Aleph. Look at the mess he has us in now. Calm down. He's a rabble-rousing thief, a self-destructive maniac, a snake in the grass. He even stole the tea of Kamala from me. He's nearly ruined everything we've worked for. It's only a die, Merlin. It does nothing more than a die can do. You were there today. You saw what he did. He managed to change the Panopticon with this die, even if only for a second. He'll ruin my work, Aleph. He's a slave to his passion. His head is filled with impulsive thoughts. I don't trust him. We can't trust him. I've done everything you've asked. Now it's time to do your part. Time's ticking down. I can't afford any further mistakes. No one can be permitted to stop my experiment in the Panopticon. I'll prove it to them that we have found the path to the ultimate answer.
Okay. Ooh, a lot to unpack there. So we know our physician is not Aleph. But we also now know our physician is our next character, gotcha character. And this is, I think, the one I've been wanting to roll for. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to notice here, majorly, was how when he said Kamala Congress, just for a second, it's a blink and you miss a moment, the word flickered. Those words flickered. So, what I'm wondering is, what exactly is Kamala Congress, and how does it play into things? Undoubtedly, it's going to be more important than what we're being told here. I can imagine it's going to be something much more serious than just simple, like, another literature talk. The other thing I wanted to mention is how we've known this place has been like a research center for a while now. It's not just to study inmates and like mental health and all that, but in this case, the physician Merlin here, he is actually trying to prove something. What he's trying to prove exactly, I'm not sure, but it's going to be worth keeping an eye out and seeing what other clues we can find here. But let's see here. I would like to do these off screen, but in this case, all these little bits and pieces here are going to be worth reviewing on video. Mainly because most of them are going to be just more detailed information. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. There's the other side. Okay. So 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Three, two, one. And that is it. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're good to go. One other thing I want to mention is how something that's already been brought up a couple times. It's just how much titles are being mentioned here. How the physician mentioned that the jailer's being more active in a role compared to when she first arrived. So that's just something interesting to know here. And I want to see if maybe that's part of what he's trying to do. But again, we just have to wait and see where that goes from here. So let's see. Part 10, the ant mill. The truth is, no one can truly bend fate.
La cabaña con el techo azul estaba silenciosa como siempre. En un sueño fugaz, la investigadora de paracausalidad descubrió la verdad detrás del dado de Babilonia. Examinó cuidadosamente los patrones ocultos, como un astuto astrólogo rastrea los movimientos de las estrellas. Lo que pueda parecer errores o accidentes no niega las verdades del destino. Por el contrario, afirman su existencia. Solo pregúntale al gran Heráclito. En un universo no observado, el dado de Babilonia gira perpetuamente, dictando el destino de todos en un tiempo que es tanto infinitamente largo como infinitamente corto. Mira, cerró los ojos. Respetaba la aleatoriedad de los números y el destino. Respetaba el juicio del dado. De lo contrario, se habría perdido sumisamente en los huecos del tiempo y bajaría para siempre como un fantasma en el olvido.
First, allow me to make one thing clear. I had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to the Idealist yesterday. I swear it on my career as a writer. As you all know, the Idealist and I are the representatives of the two factions of La Sociedad de Poetas de las Américas. As you also know, we have been at peace since the Let Sleeping Dogs Lie agreement was signed a few months ago. Despite our differing views, we have coexisted to this day under the watchful gaze of the Central Tower. Rest assured that we will work tirelessly to locate the missing Idealist.
Don't put so much pressure on yourself, Miss Octavia. His death wasn't your fault. After all, he was the one who threw the first verbal dagger.
Show some respect, you morons. The Idealist is missing, not dead. I'm sure he'll show up in one piece before we know it.
Better face the hard truth now, Roberta. Though, I have to say, it won't be easy for you to find a new leader as mad as him.
Please, everyone, quiet down. According to the agreement, today's Congress should have been chaired by the Idealist. Since he is still missing, I will be acting on his...
Pardon my lateness. Go ahead. I'm ready to moderate. Miss Ford, I looked over the incarceration and visitor records from the past 6 months. There was no mention of anyone named Doris.
Then it seems only the physician knows the whereabouts of Dr. Dorez. Miss Jailer, we need to meet with the physician. It's important.
Listen, you really shouldn't take the inmates' ramblings too seriously. But if it's as critical as you say, I'll make another request later. That said, I'm afraid the meeting won't happen for at least a few days.
Understood.
For now, please join us for today's Congress.
Espectacular! Do you hold literary salons like this every day? This place is practically a writer's paradise. So, you're the host of the salon, Octavia? I say we set aside our differences and have a titillating literary discussion.
You've come at the right time. You may serve as witnesses for the Congress alongside the jailer, like a citizen's jury in a court.
Your suggestion aligns with the congressional rules. Very well.
Huh? Congress? Witnesses? Isn't this a salon? Which topic are we discussing? Literary theories? Schools? Principles? Languages? Oh, narrative perspectives?
None of those. This Congress is about the randomness of fate, Miss Recolleta.
Randomness of fate?
Dear visitors from the Foundation, allow me to introduce the Kamala Congress. What happened yesterday was merely a brief anomaly. In the Panopticon, spontaneous order among the inmates is the norm, and the Kamala Congress serves as its truest reflection.
Spontaneous order?
Yes. Through the Congress, the inmates assign and distribute medication, communal duties, and rest periods. They are entirely self-regulated.
I hereby announce the commencement of the 7th Kamala Congress.
A cardboard box and... is that a paper die? It has 20 sides.
Huh?
We carefully examine hidden patterns, much like an astute astrologer tracks the movements of the stars.
Isn't this... Isn't this just like the Die of Babylon? The MacGuffin that weaves through the entire plot? The infinite symbiote of fate? And the symbol that compresses time into a shriveled circle?
What may seem like errors or accidents doesn't negate the verities of destiny. On the contrary, they affirm its very existence. Just ask the great Heraclito. In an unobserved universe, the die spins in perpetuity.
Dictating the fate of all in time that is both infinitely long and infinitely short?
Look, I've closed my eyes. I respect the randomness of numbers and destiny. I respect the die's judgment.
Otherwise, we will acquiesce and lose ourselves in the gaps of time and wander forever as ghosts in oblivion.
I don't understand what's going on. Oh, but the irony that I probably have more idea what's going on than anyone here.
Miss Recolleta, this is all in your novel, isn't it?
I'm afraid so. The recitations, the references to an astrologer and Heraclito, they couldn't possibly be just a coincidence. Then, could it be? Will they look to the die to dictate their fate?
I shall perform the first roll. Its result will determine the subsequent roll order for this Congress. The result is 5. This check complies with the prerequisite conditions of the ruling of the die, and the standard roll order has been established. Inmate Jose, please come forth. You are the first in the initiative order. Therefore, Fate's judgment shall fall upon you before all else.
Me? Okay. It's 17! Ah, what a wonderful number! 17! Like an oasis in an endless desert.
The result is 17, and the score combination 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3. According to the ruling of the die, he shall receive 60 risperidone tablets, 40 clozapine tablets, and 40 diazepam tablets. Additionally, he will assume the role of cultural manager of the Comala Congress. Before he takes office, inmate Jose must clean the first restroom for the next 7 days.
Wonderful! I'll gladly clean the toilet. I've got the brooms here, the toilet detergent, oh, and the toilet brush too. I have been waiting for this opportunity. As cultural manager, I will speak with every inmate and complete the Comala memoir, finally capturing the moments when literary sparks ignite and explode.
Next is inmate Eduardo. Please come forth.
But I can't remember the ruling of the die. I can't remember anything. Damn it. Sorry, Senora Octavia, but I don't think I can do this. I didn't get any medication in the last Congress. I've had multiple episodes. It's like my brain's jammed or something.
It's all right, inmate Eduardo. It's easy. You don't need to know the rules to roll the die. Give me your hand, I'll help you. My sincerest apologies, inmate Eduardo. The die dictates that you must voluntarily descend into the sewers and write the thematic keyword that currently causes you the most anxiety on the walls.
Thank you very much, Miss Octavia. I think my head's about to split in half. I need a moment to rest before I head down there and fulfill my destiny.
Jailer, are you really letting them make every decision with the roll of a die? Eduardo is clearly in a much more dire condition than Jose. The medication should have been given to him.
As I said, this is how the inmates of the Panopticon maintain order. The physician periodically provides medication, food, and other necessities, and the inmates distribute them in this spontaneous and efficient manner. Neither authority nor violence is involved in this process. This is what sets Comala apart from all other custodial facilities.
Is that it? You abdicate all agency to the roll of a paper die and call it the randomness of fate? What kind of sick joke is this?
Please calm down, Recolleta. This is the method that the inmates have collectively decided to recognize. They're prepared to face the possible sacrifices that it brings. This isn't about you or me. It's not our place to interfere with a procedure that has been proven both pragmatic and effective. My duty is to assist the inmates in maintaining order through the methods that they have established. And yours is to witness their self-governance, not judge it.
If everything somehow unfolds as it does in my novel, then every role is already predetermined. Verton, do you remember the story I told you last night? The odds of both success and failure were consecutively multiplied. I remember. As soon as a character experiences a failure, they continue to suffer failures in an endless chain reaction. None of Eduardo's future dice rolls will ever result in a number higher than 10. At this rate, this system, this sociedad, ruled by the dice of Babylon, is bound to collapse. Eduardo will never receive any medication. The moment he writes the keyword on the wall could very well be the moment he spells out his own death. No, I can't let this happen. I have to do something.
Wait, Miss Recolleta, what are you doing?
Okay. Well now. So, we have our quote-unquote die of Babylon here. So I'm not familiar with the term, and I will want to do a little bit of research, probably in between episodes, to maybe try and get a better idea of where the term comes from. But, so this is the idea behind our novel. So those who succeed will continue to succeed, where those who fail will continue to fail, basically. And people try, my understanding, since given the title, people will try to undo or beat their given fate. However, they will only end up bringing about their own misery and despair in doing so. But right now, Recolleta does have an idea of what's going on, and so she does plan to try and break free of that. Try to help the this Panopticon Kungala break free of this cycle. So we're gonna see where that goes. But first, what do we have here? Okay, I'll give you the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's it. And 3, 2, 1. And we have another voice chat here, so let's...
Few soldiers would appreciate the idea of taking orders from an accursed die. A skilled commander would never rely on luck to make decisions. On the battlefield, the distance for every maneuver should be clear and precise, not two numbers with a D in the middle, unless you're looking to invite a mutiny. That said, if a die with such power were placed in a soldier's hand, I'm pretty sure they'd roll it and let it decide their destiny. Exactly. There's no good luck without bad luck. Just as a coin must have two sides. Luck essentially defines one's entire life. And whether it's make or break, life or death, the die will keep on rolling. Of course, dice aren't the only tools used to play with fate. Coins, lotteries, even shells on the beach can all serve the same purpose. Thanks to the randomness of fate, a Babylonian may rise to be a proconsul one day and fall into slavery the next. Well, that's where historians come in. With a little creative editing of the history books, even the random rolls of a die can suddenly make sense. What were once avoidable tragedies are rebranded as reasonable incidents, or even desirable outcomes. You're starting to sound like a gambler. But even gamblers, after hitting a hot streak or a losing spell, start to convince themselves that they've figured out the grand pattern behind games of chance. It isn't just gamblers either. Witches tried to influence fate through rituals and charms. Ancient mathematicians calculated probabilities on paper. Some even wrote books on game theory. Meanwhile, others suspected there were cheaters among them. I just hope these High Rollers unite to confront the demon who holds the laws of the universe, the past, present, and future, in its claws, and give it a well done and a slap in the face. Haven't I always? It's just that today, the die rolled a peculiar number. But all things considered, I prefer the other kind of commander. The die is cast, but regardless of what number has been rolled, it's time to cross the river.
Okay, yeah, so honestly, this does touch a bit about what I was saying. So with a bit of luck, someone can raise themselves up into a position of power or prestige. And honestly, as much as you want to say that, yes, you need to work hard to get where you want in life, the truth is, it does also depend a little bit on luck. Sometimes you get a lucky break every once in a while, and you manage to end up in a better position than you were before. Other times, even when you do everything right, you may end up worse off than when you started. Like, just look at the college system for the Americas nowadays. They promise that with a degree you can get a really good paying job and all that, but a lot of people are suffering from high interest student debts and aren't able to really break out of that cycle. So I want to see what comes next here. Soothsayer, Worldmaker. The goddess delights in toying with the the goddess delights with the piety of her believers. That's one goddess. Alright, let's see here.
Miss Recolleta, as a witness to the Congress, you have the right to express your doubts calmly.
Listen, you... No, it's nothing. It's just that I'd like to participate in the dice rolling ceremony. May I?
Of course. The very fact that you're standing here in the Panopticon proves that you share a common fate with it.
It doesn't matter when I roll the die, since the rolls are simply a reflection of the randomness of fate, right?
Precisely.
Then I'd like to perform my role after the 27th inmate. Is that all right?
As you wish, Miss Recolleta.
Okay. So let's see here. So we're... Give me... Ooh, hold on. No, this should be fine. I was gonna say, it's not giving me
I have all
feeling.
the essentials for writing poetry. You, me, and our opponent.
Okay, that's fine. So we got the dice roll to add on executional effects. Depending on what number we get, we may get a different effect. So that's good to know.
I can hear it. Charging.
Or one.
It is here. I can hear it.
Loading.
Tu peux la jeter maintenant. La charme.
Oh, I did.
The light that
I
illuminates.
did nothing, so.
Charging.
En todos los momentos.
Target confirmed.
Nuestro adversario es el tiempo.
Oh, battery. Aha.
Loading.
Random damage to each enemy.
It is here.
That was think bad.
Eliminate target.
Oh, this lens!
Oh. Just randomly deletes an enemy. I'll take that.
Circuits functioning properly. Charging.
Get Recolleta ready for next turn.
Child of
So
Science.
if this doesn't wrap up this turn, we can have it. Have your ultimate and go from there.
Aim and shoot.
El camino a pie, en todos los momentos. Más allá del concepto mundano de la acumulación de laberintos. Suéltalo todo una vez más.
Okay, that did it.
Victory secured. I should excuse myself.
And I'm almost ready to level up. Nice.
It seems fate favors you, Miss Recolleta. Here are your supplies. Please be sure to follow the distribution rules of the Congress. This is an essential structure of Comala, and a belief shared by all its inmates. Honor it.
Just as I suspected. These supplies belong to me now, Octavia. I'm free to use them however I please. Here, Eduardo. Take them.
But I haven't fulfilled my destiny yet. These precious tablets and capsules, I can't accept them. They are gifts from fate. The die has placed them in your palm.
But I don't need them. You do.
Thank you, kind señorita.
Eduardo, what's wrong? Are you taking the medicine right now? There's no need to rush. There's plenty of it. You can have it all.
Por Dios, Eduardo! How could you squander fate's gifts like this? Kind señorita, please, give me the medication. I need it more than anyone else.
No, I'm the one who needs the most. Give me the medication. I beg of you. With the protection of these amulets, I might finally be able to get a peaceful night's sleep. No more trembling floors and wailing ghosts.
Enough! Enough! You shouldn't have done that, Miss Recolleta. Your ignorant generosity could shatter the very basis of our survival. We have never had such chaos at the Congress. Understand this. We rely only on the randomness of fate to distribute supplies and assign responsibilities. If you disrupt the status quo, the entire system of the Panopticon will collapse beyond repair. It is only by respecting the arbitrariness of fate and adhering to the rules of the Die of Babylon that we have kept this place functioning all this time.
The Die of Babylon? Tell me, how did you know this name? Are you the one orchestrating this whole thing? ¿Podría ser? ¿Eres Aleph? ¿Tal como sospechaba Verdun?
Let go of me, Miss Recolleta. Have you gone mad? The role of the die is absolutely random. I'm not orchestrating anything. Before the Congress began, I made an oath. I intend to keep it.
Please, calm down, Miss Recolleta. I think she's telling the truth.
Sorry, Octavia, but please, you have to tell me how you learned about the Die of Babylon. I must know. Only my pen pal and I should have any knowledge about this die.
I heard about it from the physician. He described it as a symbol of collective consciousness that we could harness to maintain immaculate order in the Panopticon. The Comala Congress was coined, iterated, and perfected by the physician based on this concept.
The physician again. Everything eventually leads back to him, just as we suspected.
I see. Jailer, we have to meet with the physician in person. Now.
As I've told you many times, Dr. Merlin is too busy at the moment. I couldn't possibly trouble him over a novel and a pen pal. They are just fantasies.
Couldn't you make an exception? What if they're not just fantasies? What if they're tied to the very survival of this place? Miss Recolleta said the Panopticon could collapse because of the Die of Babylon.
Are you seriously telling me you believe that nonsense?
It wasn't nonsense, nor are they fantasies. You saw with your own eyes how I won the die roll.
It was just a coincidence.
What if we present you with stronger evidence to prove it's more than just a coincidence? If everything in the Panopticon proceeds according to Miss Recolleta's novel as she says, she should be able to predict what happens next, including the roll results of the absolutely random die.
That's right. The Die of Babylon isn't random at all. It's nothing but a supercilious fraud veiled under the guise of fate, and an actor of the inescapable loop of history. And not one of you is paying attention to me whatsoever. Ugh, to hell with this era of ignoring unknown writers.
Miss Recolleta, please make your prediction for the next inmate's die roll. This way, you can prove to Miss Jailer the irrefutable connection between Kamala and your novel, The Rise and Fall of Sanity.
I finally remembered its name! Oh, what sweet balm to my spirit!
Miss Octavia, please continue the Congress and let the next inmate perform their role. Then Miss Recolleta's statement will be proven true.
I appreciate the reminder. No matter the interruption, the Comala Congress must go on. Though not for Miss Recolleta's sake, of course. Next inmate, please. Hello, inmate Garcia. You know what to do.
Of course.
La sexta cara. Un pilar roto. El flujo de la fortuna y la calamidad. So the result of the next roll will be a 6.
As fate reveals, the number is 6.
Just as Miss Recolleta predicted.
That could still be a coincidence. Do it again.
La 13ª cara. Una cadencia desconcertante, sin un verdadero principio ni fin. La 4ª cara. Un hombre que se ahogaba usó el último de sus fuerzas para nadar a la seguridad, solo para descubrir que había confundido un espejo con la superficie del agua. La 17ª cara cojeaba hacia el distante oasis, solo para que la débil humedad y la inquietante quietud revelaran cruelmente que era un espejismo. La 6ª cara, otro pilar roto con grietas idénticas a la última, confirmó la hipótesis de la investigadora de paracausalidad. Este lugar solía ser un edificio circular. Is that enough? I've almost finished the entire chapter.
It's not possible. Who are you?
I'm sorry if this comes as a shock to you, but I did warn you, Octavia. Now it's proven. The Die of Babylon is anything but the so-called randomness of fate.
Have you been sent here by some god? Or are you a hobby prophet? Have you brought this knowledge to save us? Or to shatter our beliefs? Our world? What is this thing in my hand? What are we? What is this prison?
I don't know if it's some kind of sorcery or arcane skill, but it's unfathomable. I'll take you to the physician. Not because of your earlier request, but because the situation has escalated beyond my means. The overseer of the Panopticon will decide how to handle your situation.
To be honest, Miss Recolleta, I wasn't sure you'd be able to correctly predict everything.
Timekeeper, are you saying that you risked everything on a hunch?
It worked, didn't it?
Come with me. Dr. Merlin's office is in the central tower.
En la 6ª versión de mi novela, todos en el pueblo mueren a causa del dado de Babilonia. Porque solo la muerte puede cerrar el ciclo de la historia. Y carcelero, eres el empleado del banco, ¿verdad? Entonces, al final, también sufrirás un colapso como el empleado del banco, cuando se da cuenta de que él y el pescador de dunas son la misma persona. If all of this is tied to the rise and fall of sanity, then, as its creator, I will get to the bottom of this.
Okay, so I'm starting to get a bigger picture, or I'm starting to get a clearer picture here. To break down from what I'm understanding here, it seems that, excuse me, it seems that Recolleta's novel is being used in some kind of ritual here, undoubtedly the physician, Dr. Merlin, is using it as a basis for whatever his research is. And because of that, Recolleta can understand and predict what's going to happen next. Now, what the end goal is still unclear to me. He said he wants to prove something about the true meaning of the world or the unattainable. I forget exactly what he said, but with this in mind, keep an eye out and see what other clues we can get from the novel. I imagine the little chapters she's been reading from her novel or writing from her novel are all meant to be clues on what's going to happen next. But before we continue on the story, let's see what the next memory has in hold for us. The boundary shatters, and astrologer glimpses an unspeakable truth. Oh no, is Cthulhu gonna appear here? I kid. After that, I attended several more literary salons and wrote things I've never dared write before. Mix Octavia, however, never made an appearance. I didn't see her for quite some time. That was until I followed some prisoners to a large hall and heard her voice among a group of unfamiliar inmates. She noticed me and greeted me warmly. She told me that she had been working on some new innovations. She told me that her hopes to gather some more support to improve conditions in the prison and initiate a spiritual shift towards realism and resistance. I truly believed back then that everything was heading in the right direction. Before all eyes, the host of the assembly, the idealist, steps up to the podium. By the randomness of fate, we have gathered here and participate of Comala Congress. Before the eye of destiny, historians and astrologers alike, I now declare a new rule amendment. A duel before a crowd of eager eyes. The winner awarded 10 pounds of gold, and loser left with 10 flies to descend upon him. Oh, ooh. Yeah, so does this sound familiar to you guys? This was actually part of Recolleta's story. Before the Comala Congress converges, we shall assign 2 members a la Sociedad this noble mission, a duel decreed by fate. Those hear the faint click of small objects surrounded inside a box. Jose Julio, step forward to draw the sharpest blade of your literary thoughts. According to the rules, I shall now proceed over the duel with fairness and impartiality. Now, prepare yourselves. The absurd fictional metaphor duel ends with a fraction of a second. The victorious prisoner receives 10 shining gold pills, while the loser collapses on the floor. The crowd erupts into chaos, Octavia's cries rising above the noise.
What's going on?
Mr. Julio, he's having another seizure.
Miss Erd, please, Julio needs your help.
Octavia, you know all part of the randomness of fate. Randomness of fate? She does not argue back as she usually would. Instead, she stands frozen in place as if stunned. What's the matter, Miss Octavia? This is an emergency. I require your assistance. Answer me, Octavia. Why are you trying to change Julio's fate? Because no one should die like this.
I don't want him to die. Please, Miss Octavia, help me so I can help him.
Her voice cracks, leaving only the sound of her sniffling sobs lingering in the air. What's wrong, Miss Octavia? How's his condition now? Miss Octavia? She remains silent. After a long pause, she casts her heavy stone into the bottomless water. Miss Erd.
Mr. Julio is gone. He left us the moment the duel was over.
How could that be? Cheese can potentially lead to irreversible brain damage, but how could it happen so fast? A precious life gone so quickly, swept away by something so senseless lost in a nonsensical duel. What exactly is the so-called Congress? Some kind of punitive system unique to Kamala prison? How can someone's life be decided by something so absurd? Are we simply meant to surrender to fate so twisted, no matter how absurd it is? Is it so irrefutable? This isn't the fate I seek. It is a distortion of it. It is my fault for not finding a better way. I used to think that Julio didn't care about anything but his own novels. I never imagined my ideals would mean anything to him. But he was the first person in La Sociedad to support me. But that really was an irresistible fate, a fate granted to Mr. Julio by the Die of Babylon. The Die of Babylon? Her question is left unanswered. The host of the salon goes on. Julio has stepped off the endless staircase and reached the silent water. He has become as calm water dissolved into his own pond. Let us offer our blessings, our silent farewells of this martyr of fate. And let us imagine that Julio's literary career was a happy one. The hall remains deathly silent. No applause, no response.
A life is taken, and that's all you have to say?
You really don't care about whether we live or die, do you, idealist? And all of you, don't any of you have anything to say? Why are you just standing there? If he had kept rejecting the physician's treatment, maybe Mr. Julio would have... Rejecting? How ridiculous! You have no clue what the demon in human skin is capable of. How he'll reach into your mind to mold it like clay and reshape it until it becomes your prison. In this realm of fiction, fate, unreality, the dissolution of the ego is inevitable and irreversible. Therefore, we must not resist the ending dealt to us by the Die of Babylon. Do you even know what you're talking about? I never truly understand you, idealist. I will find a better way. I must rewrite this tragic tale. If you disagree, then leave La Sociedad. I will not have our great poem disrupted by your offbeat syllable. Besides, your tedious talk of social responsibility should have been purged long ago. Modern Latin America belongs to visual realism, and you're too ignorant to even attempt to seek it out.
What a ridiculous, laughable man you are!
Yes, I see it clearly now. It's your tyranny that's driven everyone to ruin. Let me tell you something. I'm not leaving. I will establish new literary movement here in Comala. Right here, La Sociedad de Poetas de las Americas. And we will use our literary to rescue the inmates who suffer all around us.
I've had enough of your condescending stone-hearted ego and your pompous sophistry. He'll only bring misfortune upon us with his constant rambling about that visceral realism.
I hope I never see you again. Miss Erd, we have to get you out of here. Another second around this maniacal might just do us as well.
Only the physician, the true overseer of this prison, can save us from this situation. Please join our society, Miss Torres.
Help us build a renewed Sociedad de Poetas together. I've already spoken with the jailer. As long as we follow the rules and help them manage Comala, we'll be free to discuss literature.
Forgive me, Miss Octavia. While I truly appreciate your kind offer, I'm afraid my conversation with the physician must remain private.
Why?
Please answer me this question first. From what you've seen, you say this prison is in circular shape, yes?
Yes.
Then tell me, at the center of the structure, is there a watchtower? Impossible. You guessed it exactly. And our destination is somewhere inside the watchtower. How did you know?
I've had such a lovely time here. So much so that I almost forgot what I came for.
What is precisely why I must put an end to this cruel farce masquerading as fate? Do you intend to rebel against the Watchtower's gaze just like the idealist? You misunderstand me, Miss Octavia.
That inescapable gaze, and the permanent theme of fate.
To get closer to the truth I seek, I have no choice but to meet the administrator that young lady spoke of.
You've decided to save the people here with your own hands, in your own way, and so have I. There are things I must face alone.
Though she is well used to death, the pain of Julio's passing still lingers in her heart, causing her to say these words that don't quite feel like herself.
I see. Lend me your palm. I'll draw you the way to his office. Good luck to you. And to all of us.
Farewell, Miss Octavia. I truly hope all goes well for you in the days ahead. And in your journey, finding answers about fate, too.
Okay. So Doris finally decided to move forward and confront the physician. Now, what came of this, I'm not quite sure, but we are getting close to that point. So, let's see. Behind the operating curtain. So this is more or less where we're gonna. I imagine this is more or less where we're gonna finally meet the physician, probably, just behind because of the name of the title. But mind you, I could be wrong there. What disrupted this era? What unraveled time? The shadow looking in the ruins. The shadow looking in the ruins. Answers. Madness.
Wait here a moment. I'll report the situation and your request to Dr. Merlin. However, since he's always busy, I can't guarantee he'll agree to meet you, but I'll do my best to persuade him.
Now's our chance, Sinetto.
Our chance? What do you mean, Timekeeper?
It's unlikely that the jailer will let us search the central tower, even in this situation. We should take the initiative and look for clues while she's away.
I see, Timekeeper. I will do my best.
Thank you for your assistance, Miss Recolleta. Without your precise predictions, we wouldn't be standing here now. I haven't yet grasped the connection between the die, your novel, and what's happening in this place. But by process of elimination, it's almost certain that your pen pal, Aleph, is right behind this door.
Sometimes I envy your decisiveness, Vertin. I'm sure many people have praised this special talent of yours.
Are you all right? You don't seem as excited as when we first entered Kamala.
The all-seeing sentinel of the Panopticon, veiled within the central tower. If it truly is Aleph, I don't know how to face such a terrifying and increasingly plausible reality.
Sorry to interrupt, but... Timekeeper, I think you'll want to see these.
Signed Erd. This is a letter from Dr. Dorez.
Her handwriting, it's as beautiful as I'd imagined. Who is it addressed to? Dear Mr. Aleph.
Aleph? Looks like Dorez and Aleph are acquaintances. Or at least, they've had some correspondence. Dear Mr. Aleph, my apologies if this reaches you at an inconvenient time. I am Dorez, pen name Erd, an ordinary inmate of the Panopticon of Kamala. I write seeking your guidance, if you wouldn't mind offering it to me.
I heard from the physician, Dr. Merlin, that you have the answer to every question. A statement which has been echoed by the Idealist and the other inmates. I have something I wish to ask you. What exactly is your role at the prison? Chief Warden? A secret backer? An observer who dominates the prison? Are you truly the supreme ruler of the Panopticon of Kamala?
Dear Erd, I do indeed have answers for every question, including yours. I'm afraid every one of your speculations is off the mark. I am merely an inmate who chose to imprison himself here. And allow me to point out that your identity isn't as ordinary as you claim. Why is it that you, my fellow inmate and guest of Manus Vindictae, are so interested in Kamala?
Dr. Doris? A guest of Manus Vindictae?
It came from inside the room. Do you think they're okay?
The jailer and the physician! What happened?
I'm not sure, but it could be bad. Come on, let's go in and see if they're all right. It seems we've stumbled upon the physician's...
The physician's office. I should have known. But... is this an operating room? As if this prison wasn't bizarre enough already.
Didn't I tell you to wait outside? What do you think you're doing barging in like this?
We were just worried about your safety, jailer.
Enough. Get out of...
Quiet.
The reptilian complex governs all our fundamental functions. Our heartbeat, breathing, fight or flight responses, and our territory and hierarchy awareness. Our primitive ancestors, like reptiles and birds, followed such instincts to survive. Through millions of years of evolution, we developed the limbic system. This processes emotions and forms memories. It allows us to feel fear, sadness, anger, joy. Our behaviors are given meaning. Now it's the neocortex that makes up more than 2/3 of our total brain volume. Language, perception, logical reasoning, abstract thought. This is what forms the complexity of human nature. We read, create, perceive. We try to understand both the world and ourselves. We are forever setting goals, one after another. And all this, these multitudes, happens within the confines of the skull, in the tight folds of the crowded cerebral cortex.
Is he... performing surgery?
Such a delicate and elaborate organ. Were it unable to forget, what would come of it? Can this space, no larger than the palm of my hand, truly accommodate dozens of people at once?
What's happened to the patient? It looks like he's dying. ¿Fracasó la cirugía?
Nonsense. The surgery was a tremendous success. I have erased his debilitating hysteria and restored order to the Panopticon. What are you trying to achieve by barging in here? Forget it. The next operation requires my attention. Jailer, show them out. Bring me the next patient in 15 minutes.
I'm sorry, Miss Burton. I'm afraid you have to leave now.
Please, just let us speak with you. It'll only take a moment. I have something very important I need to ask.
Important? Nothing is of greater importance than my experiments in the Panopticon, outsiders. To ensure they continue, the stability of time and schedule is absolutely paramount.
Experiments in the Panopticon? So you really are the controller of the prison, then?
Controller? What an outdated notion. Superficial, really. The Panopticon has no need for such power, regardless of who occupies the central tower, or even if no one's there at all. Every inmate is both the observer and the observed, both wielders and subjects of power. Achieving such a state requires no physical or violent measures. The structure of the Panopticon itself is the mechanism which sustains it. Kamala is simply a manifestation of this model. Once I confirm its feasibility and adaptability, this model can be applied to any functional setting with only minor modifications. So far, it has proven to be far superior to any current system of governance in our world, transcendental even. Curse it. Why am I wasting time explaining this to you? Time is running out.
Dr. Merlin, you keep mentioning time. What exactly do you mean by that?
Really? You need to ask? Even those oily-headed lunatics know it. The end of this era is imminent, is it not?
You know about the storm?
That's what you call it, is it? A storm that washes everything away? You employees of the St. Pavlov Foundation should know better than I. Soon, this era and everything in it will cease to exist. I must prove the feasibility of the Panopticon model before this place is turned to ruins, or something even more unrecognizable.
A storm that washes everything away? Burton, what on earth are you two talking about?
No one can predict the era to which we will be reversed. I have seen the eras change time and time again. The transformation of this place, over and over. But no matter which era each of these 9 storms, as you call them, has taken us back to, Cordeismo continues to plague this land. Dependency theorists, martyred revolutionists, I've seen them all. You, young writer, are no different from those intellectuals who were swept away in the rain. There is no romance in this era, only the repeated cycles of madness and brutality. An endless, meaningless struggle. Only in this forgotten corner can we momentarily escape the plundering of the marauders and the chaos they unleash. Although it won't be long before this place is looted by those oily-headed lunatics. Just as it has countless times before on this land as rich as silver. But there is still hope. Even in a wasteland, we may still be saved. As long as I uncover the path to transcendentality, I will find the ultimate answer. Ugh, I've already wasted far too much time on you. Leave, now.
You heard him. Please don't press things any further.
All right, Senora. I get it. Obviously, you don't want to discuss my novel with me anymore. So I won't insist upon it. All the letters we wrote to one another, all those inspiring revisions and suggestions, I guess they meant nothing to you. But there's still something I must tell you. Jailer, could you please allow us a private conversation with the No. With Aleph.
Leave us, jailer. I'll spare these outsiders 5 minutes.
Okay, so I'm really curious here. I may have misunderstood the situation before. Given that there was a second silhouette, I thought Aleph was a separate person from the physician, but I'm not so sure. I think they may actually be one and the same. But the fact that he's actually working, I don't think he's so much as working with Manus. It's more like they are partners of convenience. The Manus is using his research for their own ends, but he's also taking the opportunity to try and collect information to build a system that he believes is unshakable. Mind you, that's not exactly the best way. His way is going about is way too messed up, in my opinion, and he is just lacking the basic understanding of humanity and kindness, which is ultimately going to just lead to a whole other load of issues. Because yes, he's right. There's always going to be people who are going to be unhappy with the status quo, unhappy with the current situation in life. And they will actually try to fight and change it. But in doing so, they just create another situation and just in the cycle. The physician recognizes this, but his way of going about it does not solve the issue. It only just it just leaves the problem for someone else to solve, or for someone else to come in and make even more issues. But we'll have to get back to that in the next episode because we are out of time for today. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you all have been enjoying this episode of Reverse 1999. Again, this sort of mystery and like what's going on is usually not my cup of tea, but I am enjoying this right now, so I am curious to see where does this go and how does the physician, aka Aleph's research, actually connect to what the man has been doing, and how will it affect how the Timekeeper Squad handle things. But until then, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified new videos when it comes out, share this content if you might enjoy it, or just need a bit of background noise in your life. Until then, this has been Starborn, Feline sign off for now, saying be kind, truck racing tomorrow, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, hope you all have a great day, evening, or time for you when you watch this, and goodbye.